So I'm Daniel Fank. I'm pastor of a bilingual church called Camino de Fe Lutheran Church in Burnersville and Somerville. I've been a pastor for about 10 years, and I have helped many couples understand what marriage is all about from God's perspective, right? From the perspective of the creator of heaven and earth. And so he created us and knows what's best for us. And since he instituted marriage, I think it's good to pay attention to what he has to say about it. And so that's kind of one of the things that I do is when someone wants to get married, we do pre-marriage counseling where we meet about six times before marriage, and it's mainly just to help them understand what God has to say about it. I've been married for 17 years to my wife, Jerusha. We have three children, 14, 9, and 4. And, try to my purpose is try to help people understand marriage from God's perspective and understand God's love for humanity. So. Right. Yeah, that's a great question. So, oftentimes people want to know the secret to a happy marriage, right? And and
Yes,
everybody has
yes, do tell.
and everybody has different ideas, right? Marrying your best friend, it's a good thing, marrying someone who's attractive, that's also should be included in that. Marrying someone who makes you laugh, it's people have different ideas, but I think from God's perspective and for what God has for humanity is forgiveness, right? And that's the ability to forgive and to be able to give someone a second chance. Now, please don't get me wrong, that there are circumstances where there is abuse, and we talked about it this a while ago, but I also mentioned it in my congregation and to people. There's circumstances, obviously, where things need to be, people need to have their own ways, but I think ultimately it's forgiveness. To wake up every morning and regardless of your spouse's faults and shortcomings, you get up every morning and says, I'm gonna love you, even I'm gonna be with you, even if all those things are in between. And so, I usually mention that at the beginning of the marriage, but also I think it helps as things progress and 10 years, 15 years ago pass by, and ultimately God's purpose is reconciliation, right? Not just reconciling God with humanity, but also us with one another. And so I think that's one of the things that I try to help people understand and try to try to live it out myself as well, because it's just one of those things that it's constant work, constant thing that you have to remind yourself almost every day, that we need to have this ability to forgive and to forgive a lot.
Dovetailing to Pastor Dan, the idea of listening, consulting, advising. So how would you say you differ then sort of from the legal standards or restrictions or just the process that someone like Marissa follows? Is it the same or is it very different?
Wait, sorry, are you asking me? Sorry. Are you asking me, Paul? Or
Yeah. So how do you deal with couples that come to you either before wondering if marriage is right for them, or as a married couple and they're not sure they want to continue as a married couple?
Yeah. So yeah, we go through what love is, right? And you probably, some of you heard the famous First Corinthians 13, love is patient, love is kind. And one of the points that I try to make is that when the Bible talks about love, it's not a set of feelings, right? It's not those butterflies that you feel in your belly when you see the person you love. Actually, when God talks about love, is it's a set of actions. It's love is patient, love is kind. It's not like, oh, I feel patient today, right? You can't really do that. You have to be patient. And I think it goes both ways. That I think it was Saray was saying, right? That it has to be both ways. Love is patient, it's kind, it has both ways. It's not rude, it's not resentful, it doesn't do wrong. In other words, love is sacrificial, and it both goes ways. And God has given us the greatest example of this sacrificial love when Jesus came into the world and gave his life so that we would not be um, condemned. And so he put our needs before his needs, right? He knew what he needed to do, and he gave himself for us, not even asking us if we wanted that. And so he given us the greatest example of love. Helps us understand what love is. And so from then on, we go. There are obviously circumstances where things don't work out, and then we ask them to talk to a professional beyond that point. But like I said, my point is to try to help them understand what it is that God wants for the relationship. But also, I think it's important to help people understand that even though God created marriage and meant for it to be forever, but that was at creation, right before Adam and Eve fell into sin, which helps us understand that we live in this sinful world, that we live in this world where, well, things are not always going to work out. I mean, my marriage, there's something that we need to work on constantly, right? One of the things that I always use is, I don't know if you heard it, Ben Affleck, a couple of years ago, he was at a award show, and he was thanking everybody, and then he said, the essence of our marriage is work. And then everybody was upset. Wow, how can you say marriage is work? But if you really think about it, it is giving up yourself every day, and it is being patient, and it's being kind, and it's not being arrogant, it's not being resentful, it's being sacrificial. So it is work, but there are circumstances where things don't work out, and we help people understand that it's okay. And there is forgiveness after a marriage that is broken. There is forgiveness for someone who gets divorced. There is forgiveness for all that. Obviously, children get affected. My parents got divorced, and it was horrible. Desiree, kudos for what you've done, but man, ours was tough. And but there is forgiveness for that. There is love after that. After a marriage has been dissolved, there is hope, and that's what we're trying to help people understand as well. Sorry if I went over.
No need. Pastor Dan, what's one thing that you'd like people to take away and remember?
And it kind of goes to what everybody was saying, and I think it goes to, marriage is work. It's constantly learning about myself and about the other person. It's also learning about what God has to say about me and about my relationship with the world, right? And how he wants us to show that love. I think that's one of them. And the other one is, even in any stage of a relationship, forgiveness, right? I think I go back to that, because especially in today's world where, we don't like something, we cancel it, right? we don't give anyone a second chance anymore. And so I think there's that point where God is giving us more than second, third chances, and we just need to be forgiving and give a second chance as well.
Okay.